Hey everyone, I'm Jaden,
And I'm Cam.
and we are the Super Gamer Bros, and this is the Super Gamer Bros podcast. We're just a couple of brothers who love playing games and love talking about games, so that's what we do. And today, Cam, we are talking about Mortal Kombat 11.
Ooh.
What do you know about Mortal Kombat 11?
Mortal Kombat 11 takes place in the Mortal Kombat multiverse with the
Well, I
North
meant,
inspired.
hold on. I
Okay,
meant,
I don't know. You seem like what I know about it. Like, what do I know?
well, this is what I meant was, let's talk about just Mortal Kombat in general here. You know, Mortal Kombat is a huge
Okay.
game, a huge part of my life. Whether or not anyone thinks it was appropriate, Noah and I have been playing Mortal Kombat since we were 4 years old. Playing Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and say, when were you introduced to the Mortal Kombat series? Because you and I have not, talked about it, Mortal Kombat before.
Mm, No, I was introduced when I was really young. Because I know I said this on one of the first couple episodes I've been on that my family would we were heavily like that was like one of the first games I was introduced into as well. It's just because like we are a Mortal Kombat family. I mean, like we used to always play it and have tournaments, and so I'm trying to think of the first Mortal Kombat I would have been introduced to. I feel like it would have been like the one before when DC joined in.
Oh, geez, that probably was Armageddon.
Armageddon. I think it was Armageddon.
Hmm.
I bet you was. Like I just know that. I know it was previous to that one.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's Armageddon. I don't know. I mean, I know the Mortal Kombat release timeline up to, like, I know all the games released before Armageddon, and then there was MK versus DC, and it's like, yeah, I can't imagine there was a game in between the two, but I actually have never like specifically looked up dates and things.
So
Anyway, Mortal Kombat 11 came out in 2019, released by NetherRealm Studios. And it continues off of the reboot story of Mortal Kombat. You had Mortal Kombat 9, and then Mortal Kombat X, and then Mortal Kombat 11. So once again, it's continuing that changed, different storyline introduced in, I guess you could say, sort of introduced in Mortal Kombat X, where they actually kind of continued past the original Mortal Kombat story and made their, yeah, I don't know, continued on that story, which is the thing that really hooked me, because I feel confident in saying that NetherRealm is, I feel like, especially if you want to talk just fighting games, the best storyteller of all the kind of fighting game companies. And Mortal Kombat 9 story was good. Mortal Kombat X's story was better, but I think 11 blows both of them out of the water. The story of Mortal Kombat 11 is so good.
yeah, I agree. I think that I don't know like what they did from X to 11, but it was a way big difference. I mean, like I feel like X didn't have too much direction. Meanwhile, 11 did.
Yeah, I think we'll talk I'll talk more, details about the story specifically in just a bit. But yeah, huge game series, huge games, not just, in the history of gaming, because it absolutely is one of the biggest series in the history of gaming, but along with that is just a huge game series in the history of the Super Gamer Bros. I'm always up for some good Mortal Kombat discussion, so we're going to move along now to the setting. So, Mortal Kombat 11 takes place in the Mortal Kombat multiverse with the, I assume, Norse inspired realm system. It always struck me as very Norse mythology. I don't know. I've never done research on it like that deep, but I assume it's Norse inspired just by the fact that they call all the world's realms, which is what they do in Norse mythology, like in, the nine realms. And the Mortal Kombat like multiverse, I've always really enjoyed. I don't know, just all the different realms are so fun. You have your Earth realm, obviously, which is Earth realm. You have Outworld, which is kind of like I guess you could say like an evil counter to Earth. Earth realm, kind of
Yeah.
like a nega Earth realm. Yeah, I don't know. It's like one of those kind of mirrors kind of thing, like mirror image kind of things is kind of how I've looked at it. I don't know if that's necessarily their intention, but it's kind of, it's always been like Earth realm and Outworld are kind of the big two that are always kind of going up against each other. And then you have, I don't know, there's Nether realm, there's Adenia, there's Chaos realm, there's a bunch of different worlds. That is one thing actually, okay, I'm talking about something we were talking about a bit before the podcast, before we started recording, is one thing I do slightly prefer about some of the older Mortal Kombat games is they explored more of the realms in those older games, which I really enjoy because I think that's again the Mortal Kombat universe I just think is very cool. And it's been so long since we've actually been able to explore all of the different worlds, realms, because Mortal Kombat 9, X, and 11 all kind of exclusively take place in three of the realms, being Earth Realm, Outworld, and Nether Realm. Those are the big three that kind of always come up.
Yeah, and I've always liked there's a lot of diversity into it as well. Just I mean, like not every like everybody doesn't look the same. They all have different abilities, different stories, different backstories. I mean, um, and like they all together just collides into this masterpiece. So it's
Yep,
always very neat.
yep. And we're gonna get into the story here. Following Shinnok's defeat, Dark Raiden plans to protect Earthrealm by destroying all of its enemies and making an example of Shinnok, decapitating him. This latter act inspires Kronika, the Keeper of Time, to rewrite history to undo Raiden's interference and erase him from existence. 2 years later, a Special Forces strike team led by Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, and Jackie Briggs attack the Netherrealm, with Raiden providing assistance. The team succeeds in destroying the Netherrealm castle at the cost of Sonya's life. Kronika forms an alliance with Revenants and Netherrealm's rulers Liu Kang, Katana immediately afterwards. Meanwhile, Kotal Khan, the current emperor of Outworld, attempts to execute Shao Kahn's loyalist Collector, but is interrupted by a time storm that brings Shao Kahn, Scarlet, Baraka, and younger versions of Kano, Aaron Black, Jade, Raiden, Kitana, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jax, Scorpion, Cabal, and Kung Lao from the past. And it also erases Dark Raiden from existence. A battle erupts in Kotal's Coliseum until Devora transports Baraka, Collector, Scarlet, Shao Kahn, Aaron Black, and Kano to her hive, recruiting them into Kronika's fold. I'm going to take a pause. All of that happens in like the first hour of the story. Uh, if you're not struggling with the fights, holy hell, man! This one starts off with a bang. It is quite insane. It gets going fast and it gets going hard.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just so many names listed in the first hour. It's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of people.
So, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Raiden appear at the Earthrealm's Special Forces HQ after forging an alliance with Kotal, while Jade and Katana aid Kotal in protecting Outworld from Kronika's forces. Liu Kang and Kung Lao investigate the Wu Shi Academy and encounter Kronika's right-hand man, Geras. Their battle ends with Geras using his chronokinetic powers to escape with powerful energy capsules containing Earthrealm's life force. The Special Forces learn that Sector, backed by Noob Saibot and a cyberized Frost, has reinstated the Cyber Lin Kuei to build an army of cyborgs out of kidnapped Lin Kuei warriors for Kronika. Grandmasters Sub-Zero and Hanzo Hasashi, formerly Scorpion, shut down Sector's factory with Cyrax's aid, forcing Geras, Aaron Black, and both versions of Kano to retreat to Kronika's Keep, where they revive Sector and rebuild the cybernetic army themselves. Meanwhile, Raiden consults with the Elder Gods. They cannot intervene as the time storm is draining their power, but Shinnok's twin sister, Cetrion, gives him a clue on how to defeat Kronika. During a later attempt at contacting the Elder Gods, Raiden discovers Cetrion had betrayed and killed the Elder Gods to serve her mother Kronika. I'm going to pause there real quick. I got to say, the Elder Gods are the most useless characters in the history of the universe. They have never once done anything. They couldn't banish Shao Kahn himself in Mortal Kombat 9, even though Shao Kahn, not an Elder God. They can be killed and are killed by Cetrion, who I think Cetrion is also an elder god, so I guess it's not weak. But I mean, they do nothing in this series but complain that they can't do anything, and then they die. I mean, come on, screw
Yeah,
those guys.
yeah. I know what losers.
Yeah,
They haven't banished nobody.
yeah. Uh, Kotal and Jade go to a Tarkatan camp to ask for their help fighting against Shao Kahn, but Kotal's hatred towards the Tarkatans causes Jade to battle him before Shao Kahn appears and captures him. The Special Forces base is destroyed by the Black Dragon gang and Krona's cybernetic army, with the younger Johnny and Sonya captured, the elder Johnny wounded, and Sector self-destructing in the process. Due to this and the destruction of Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei Temple and the Wuxi Academy's Sky Temple, Earthrealm's heroes reconvene at Hasashi's Fire Garden. Cassie leads a strike team to save her parents, where Sonya kills the younger Kano to erase his present self from existence. Meanwhile, Katana, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao battle Baraka to secure an alliance between him and Shiva. With their aid, Katana successfully defeats and blinds Shao Kahn, uniting the Outworld factions and inheriting the throne from Kotal. I'm going to pause there for just a second, because if I don't, I'll forget to talk about it later. So Kotal was one of the new characters introduced in Mortal Kombat X, and I like Kotal as a character, but my god, he gets the short stick with everything.
Yeah, he
Uh,
does. He constantly gets screwed.
Like, all he does is be wrong about things and get beat up. That is all that happens to him throughout like the entire story. Like what the thing did not tell you in that cutscene where Katana and everybody defeats Shao Kahn and kind of unites Outworld, which is a very cool thing to happen, because that is something that has never happened in Mortal Kombat. Outworld is always just kind of a chaotic civil war going on there. So it's cool seeing that someone was finally able to bring it together. That is something I enjoyed. But Kotal, I mean, in that fight, Shao Kahn literally cripples him. He breaks his spine so he can't use his legs anymore.
Yeah, and what's crazy? What's crazy is too is like if you guys have seen what Kodo looks like, I mean, he looks like someone you wouldn't mess around with. Like I don't know, like I guess he just
Yeah,
looks like
he's got like this Aztec warrior kind of inspired look, and even I think his powers are kind of inspired by that, because he's powered by like the sun and stuff.
yeah, and
Like,
then he's kind of a bigger character too. Like I'm not like
I mean,
obviously like he's muscular, but he's tall. Like he looks very tall.
yeah, he's the Khan of Outworld. He rules Outworld, and this
I
is,
know.
I mean, and he's just like, I like him so much, but he just gets shafted in everything he's in. Like, wait, trust me, it gets worse. You wouldn't think so, but it does. Anyway, Raiden sends Jax and Jackie to Shang Tsung's now abandoned island to retrieve the Crown of Souls, but the pair are thwarted by Cetrion, who eventually escapes with the crown, and present-day Jax, who has been deceived by Kronika into helping her in exchange for averting his time as a revenant. Hasashi is tasked with convincing Charon, the ferryman of Netherrealm Souls, straight up ripped from Greek mythology there, to join their side so they can travel to Kronika's fortress. Hasashi fights Scorpion and persuades him to join his side, but is fatally wounded by Devora. Scorpion drives her away and returns to the Fire Garden to honor Hasashi's dying wish. Refusing to believe him, Raiden attacks him on sight using Shinnok's amulet. Liu Kang intervenes, causing Raiden to realize how they have fought before across multiple timelines, and that Kronika had orchestrated them all because she fears their combined strength. Anticipating this, Kronika kidnaps Liu Kang. With Charon recruited, a joint Earthrealm Outworld army assaults Kronika's keep. Geras is dropped in the bottomless sea of blood. Frost is shut down, disabling the Cyber Lin Kuei, and the present Jax defects to the hero's side.
Yeah, I love when I had to fight the Earthworm.
Shut up. You wouldn't fight it. It was on your side anyway.
Yeah.
Once Revenant Liu Kang has absorbed his past self's soul, Kronika sends him to attack Raiden, who eventually merges with him to become Fire God Liu Kang. The heroes breach Kronika's keep, but Kronika rewinds time. With his godlike status making him immune, Liu Kang defeats the remaining Revenants and Cetrion. Kronika then absorbs Cetrion's essence to strengthen herself enough to reverse time back to the primordial state of the universe, erasing all the events in the franchise from existence. Fire God Liu Kang is left unaffected due to his godly status, Kronika and Fire God Liu Kang fight one final time to determine the fate of the new era. Depending on the outcome of this battle, the epilogue will show one of the following three endings. If Kronika wins, she decapitates Liu Kang and declares the beginning of the new era. The player is then urged to replay the fight. If Liu Kang defeats Kronika but loses one round, he meets a now mortal Raiden who offers to become Liu Kang's advisor for as long as his lifespan lasts. This is the canon ending that sets the stage for the everything that follows. And if Liu Kang defeats Kronika in 2 consecutive rounds, he meets a now mortal Raiden who allows Liu Kang to choose someone to accompany him by the hourglass. Liu Kang chooses Katana, and both vow to create a new and better timeline while undoing Kronika's mistakes. It's also a fun note, I guess, to say that Liu Kang fighting Kronika kind of causes I think it's a split of the timeline, or the timeline shatters, creating a bunch of different timelines where all the different characters are able to defeat Kronika, which is the game somehow justifying the fact that the Towers of Time exist, which I feel like was unnecessary, but it's a thing they do. So, hey, there you go. All right, let's talk about the story. Cam, what are your thoughts?
I think it was pretty in depth. And like I said earlier, it was way better of an upgrade from 10 or X. And I thought it was pretty detailed. Overall, I thought it was a really good story. It did keep me hooked. And I thought there was a lot of good fights as well.
Um,
But I was gonna say that the fight against Kronika almost made me have a mental breakdown.
yeah, it does continue NetherRealm's habit of making their boss fights way too hard, in my humble opinion. I will agree with that. Um,
Yeah. What do you
yeah.
think about it?
Well, let me tell you, I loved it. I actually played Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11 both in the year, I think, 2022, 2023, both very recently with Noah. And actually, that's on the Super Gamer Bros YouTube channel if you want to go see my actual reactions to stuff as they're happening. I think Mortal Kombat, as I said before we talked about it, Mortal Kombat 11 story is just one of the greatest, I feel like, video game stories I've experienced, if you're talking just straight from a story perspective. And I guess I might be a little biased, longtime fan of the series. By far the best Mortal Kombat story. My biggest complaint with Mortal Kombat X, and I told Noah this, I think, because Noah and I talked about Mortal Kombat X last year on the podcast, if you want to go listen to that as well. And I told Noah my biggest problem with the story of Mortal Kombat X is it's very slow and it's anticlimactic. Like, it takes a while before, I mean, at least halfway through the story before I feel like things start really, really happening, because a lot of the story is introducing a bunch of new characters. The combat kids, Kodal, and the kind of Outworld Civil War, kind of showing, hey, for the first time in Mortal Kombat history, they skipped 20 years in the future and look at all that's different. Um, yeah, all of that is super, like, it's kind of necessary to set up this future timeline they're doing, but as a result, the story is very slow. And then it's like Shinnok, who is the main villain of that story, is captured in the first chapter and then is not released until I think the second to last chapter. And then he gets this super powered form and then is beaten by Cassie in just a very anticlimactic fight. It's like I appreciate them doing something different going forward, but overall that story is kind of, it's small scale. This
Right.
one starts out with a time storm that brings all the characters from the past back. So you get past selves interacting with their future selves or interacting with future versions of their friends, which is always fun. The fact that, like, Sonya kills Kano by, like, killing his past self, like, that's a cool thing they did. There is always a lot going on. There's a lot of, kind of bringing back some characters for the first time in a couple games, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao and Katana, seeing all of them and how things are different and how things are going. It's such a fun story that I think, as I said when Noah and I were playing it, it starts and it does not stop until it's over. It is constantly high stakes, shit is happening, crazy stuff is going on. I
Oh
think
yeah.
I love it. I think it is an incredible story.
Oh yeah, and it keeps you hooked too. I remember when I first played it, I I was there for hours, dude, hours, because there's just such a good story. And what's better too is they made another game that goes off the storyline, which we will talk about sooner than later.
Yeah,
So
as soon as I play it. Yeah, I got to get on that. Anyway, yeah, that's the story. As I said, great story. And we'll move on now with Cam. Why don't you get us in on the gameplay?
let's start out with the gameplay. First we'll talk about is combat. Mortal
Oh,
Kombat
hold on,
11.
hold on, hold on, hold on. I have to fix something.
Okay, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, okay. Big deal, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the gameplay. First thing we'll talk about is the combat with the K. Mortal Kombat 11 is a 2.5D fighting game. Some of the returning features are fatalities, brutalities, stage fatalities, friendships, and quitalities. Mercy also returns from MK4, where you can revive your opponent with a bit of health. Some of the new features. Oh, actually, let's talk about that first. My bad.
Yeah, okay.
Which I always love the fatalities and the brutalities, and like all the like. I do you remember when they had the I forget how it was called. Is it the babalities? Which ones were they, where they become
The
babies?
yeah, the babalities. Yeah, that was a
The
thing.
babalities. Yeah, that was a thing. They always had like crazy cool concepts and ideas, and
Yeah,
there's nothing as cool in Mortal Kombat games than the fatalities,
fatalities. Yeah, the
the
alities. I think. Yeah.
fatalities. There you go. I don't know. That's where like you see the magic happen, and I remember being little and like people were like horrified because of Mortal Kombat, and they were trying to get a lawsuit on him and all this. I don't know if you remember that.
I mean, I no, I remember that like early, like the early days of Mortal Kombat. I don't know about if
Really,
any of
I
the new
remember.
ones. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, like,
Mortal Kombat 9 did because it was like the reboot
yes.
and stuff. But I don't remember that for X or 11 especially.
No, I'm not talking about X or 11. I'm talking about like
No.
9 and below.
Oh, it's highly possible, but I don't know what you're
Yeah.
referring to.
No, I don't know if
Anyway,
they got sued, but I just remember they got brought to court. Anyways,
I'm
though,
sure they got sued at least once in their
yeah,
time.
yeah. Anyways, though, this is just proof, though, like they always had like really sick and gory fatalities and stuff, and I just always loved it.
Yeah, friendships I thought were a fun comeback. They weren't in 11 or X, and even they weren't in sorry 11X or 9. They weren't even in 11 at the beginning. They were brought in as I'm pretty sure it was a free update, or maybe it was part of Aftermath, which we'll talk about later. But it was such a fun trailer that introduced them because they had that like "Why Can't We Be Friends" song playing, and they showed off a bunch of them. And the friendships in Mortal Kombat 11 might be the best set of alities NetherRealm has ever done. They're all super fun and interesting. I love them.
Yeah,
Um,
they're neat. Is all you
um,
have to do.
No, sorry. I also thought Mercy was an interesting thing to bring back all the way from MK4, the first 3D uh game MK4 was, and I thought it was very interesting to bring that back. Yeah, I mean, it's the classic Mortal Kombat fighting. You have your classic combos that you can string together to make even longer combos to do a bunch of damage. You have, I did not put in this document for some reason, the meter burn moves, which again gives you kind of more. Typically, they give you more if you meter burn a move, you get more opportunity to continue your combos because it'll maybe cause a character to bounce back or bounce up or just give you kind of extend the move in a way that gives you an opportunity to continue your combo off of it. I'll be honest, guys, it's a bit unfortunate that you have me and Cam talking about this one because we lost our fighting game expert Noah, who, I mean, he has competed in tournaments for this game. Noah is incredibly good at Mortal Kombat, incredibly dedicated to it. I mean, go check out the if you want the YouTube channel right now, where Noah is every day uploading videos about fatalities, brutalities of all the different characters. He has fallen hard for Mortal Kombat 1. And he fell hard for Mortal Kombat 11. He competed in tournaments. I watched him compete in tournaments. But you don't get him. You get me and Cam, the fighting game noobs. I can maybe beat the computer on easy.
Yeah, you know, I'm not the best at Mortal Kombat, but I do win. So
Um,
that's what I win.
yeah, it's yeah, we're not the best fighting gamers, so all this stuff in terms of like meter burning and combos, I kind of have to speak about from a hypothetical standpoint because it's not stuff that I could do and it's not stuff that I'm good at. Um,
Yeah, and you know, Noah is always had me come over and play games at his house, and he always has me, you know, try to learn these combos. So, you know, he puts me in boot camp.
Noah's one of those assholes who has that mindset of, no, dude, anyone can be good at fighting games. You just have to put the time in. And I gotta say, I've tried putting the time in. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. He's
Oh,
wrong. You know, I can't. I've tried. Anyway, guys, so let's talk about some of the new features introduced in Mortal Kombat 11. So we got Fatal Blows. Fatal Blows are special moves similar to the X-ray moves. Like X-ray moves, they deal a large amount of damage, but unlike X-ray moves, they only become available when a player's health drops below 30%. So in Mortal Kombat 9, and X, it's building up a meter that when the meter is maxed out, you use your X-ray move, but it's also the same meter that you use for meter burning and kind of combo breaking. So it's kind of like a risk reward of you have to save up your meter to use that X-ray move. But I mean, especially if you want to talk about competitive Mortal Kombat, they were never used because you use your meter for meter burning and breaks and stuff. The Fatal Blow gets rid of that by not being connected to any meter at all. It's just when your health gets low, you can use it. It does a massive amount of damage. You can link it with combos to do even more damage, although the game does cap it out at, I think, 33%. I can't remember the exact number. But it's cool because you see them a lot more. And yeah, they're not X-ray, but they're still very brutal. It's that same kind of, you watch a small cutscene of the character do some hits and stuff. They're fun.
oh yeah, not only that, but they also can save you a lot. There's been times where I've been close to dying and I used it and I won.
Oh yeah, they're certainly I guess you could say, I don't know if this is necessarily why they were included as a feature, but they are meant, to be like down but not out kind of thing because they absolutely can turn the tide of a round if you get down to 30% health and you're struggling. Or the same thing if you're absolutely smashing your opponent with, one click of a button, if you're not prepared and he hits you with it, 30% of your health is gone. Yeah. But you can only use them once a match, so if you use it, you can't use it the next time your health falls below 30%, which I understand that, you don't want it to be abused and overused. But Fatal Blows are cool. I love them. It's just any chance that NetherRealm takes to absolutely show off the goriness and the brutality of Mortal Kombat is always a fun experience. Cam, why don't you talk about Crushing Blows?
Crushing blows, a critical hit variation of a given special move or combination, triggered when certain requirements are met and cause deadly effect by showing graphic body injuries and draining at most times 30% of health in a single hit. They are crazy.
Yeah, I kind of put them up there with brutalities because, fatalities, you just input a series of buttons after they're knocked out. Brutalities, you have to be like, you have to kill them using a certain move or combo type under certain conditions to get, a brutality. And crushing blows are the same way. Typically a little bit less intensive than a brutality, but it's still like, yeah, certain requirements have to be met, which I don't know if you can just look them up in the pause menu. I assume you can, but other than that, like Noah just knows how to do most of them with certain characters. Like, and it's can be some weird requirements. Like the only two that I can remember at the top of my head are one every character can do is with the uppercut, classic Mortal Kombat uppercut move. if you if a person tries to hit you while you're crouched and their punch like goes over you and you uppercut them during their attack animation, it causes like an X-ray. You see their jaw break and they get, launched up. And then just as well, there's one for Shiva. It's the only other one I can remember where if you do her like, jump move she has where she jumps off the screen and then lands on her opponent, if you land it 3 times in one round, she does like an extra little attack, and I think you see, like their back break when she lands on them, something like that. So that's basically kind of the X-ray move of this game are those crushing blows, which again kind of require different requirements and not a gimme. You could absolutely play through this whole game and never see one if you are a filthy casual like me and Cam.
Yeah, I didn't get them a lot. They're kind of hard to
Yep.
get sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I got them, saw them when Noah and I were playing was Noah knew how to do them and would do some, or would be like, "Oh, do this to get this crushing blow," and it would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, we have the flawless block. Allows for a comeback window after blocking an attack with precise timing.
It's basically a parry.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I really ever had that.
Yeah, it is very, very tight timing. I think in the entire playthrough Noah and I did of it, I don't think he got one, and Noah is good at fighting games.
Yeah, it is really tough.
The computer landed a couple on us. It's new. I like it. It adds just kind of an extra layer. Again, I think maybe be a little more generous with that timing window. I think it might be, if you're talking, I guess, in all the games I've played that had parry systems, by far the tightest timing I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah. Anyway, custom variations. Uh, Sort of returning from Injustice 2, each character has an initial set of skins, gears, and moves, which can be further customized by the player. You can change their gear they're wearing, changes their appearance. You can change the moves they have equipped. Although Mortal Kombat 11 is a lot more in depth than Injustice 2 is with that. Injustice 2, like each character has up to I think four or five moves that you have to unlock, which sucks. But once you unlock them, you can then add them to a person's move set. In Mortal Kombat, there's a lot more variation. Yeah, and then unlike Injustice 2, in Mortal Kombat 11, the gear does not affect the abilities, does not determine their abilities. It's mainly cosmetic. So the players can create custom move lists independently of their character's appearance, which is cool. It's nice that it doesn't limit it because, the gear. Like, I like the gear system in Injustice 2. I think when Noah and I talked about that game, my biggest thing was about the gear system was I wish that the gear was cosmetic rather than affecting all of these stats and things because and moves and things because like I like the cosmetic aspect of all of the gear, but I don't really want it to affect gameplay.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, like I just want to put on the gear that looks the coolest, not the gear that, oh man, I like this gear looks better, but this gear has better stats. Let me put that on.
Yeah, that is kind of crappy. I agree. I mean, like, I think it's a cool concept. It's just there. I don't really know. There's a way of executing it unless you could pick your gear and the abilities you want to use. Like maybe like if you had those gear options and then like there was where you could pick like do you want the option that goes with this gear. So let's say like obviously this isn't really real, but let's say like Raiden had some kind of like electro suit or whatever. Like you have like this crazy different type of electricity, or you could just pick a different one.
Mm.
That would be maybe a cool idea.
Yeah, I don't know much else to say on variations. I don't really mess with stuff like that. Noah, again, if he was here, absolutely had his favorite variations of characters he liked to play and his moves and stuff he was better with. Because you can do customized variations, but you can also there are like pre-selected variations in the game, kind of like the God, were they called variations in MKX or were they called like God, what
I
were they
don't
called?
know.
MK? It might have been like you had like the three different like stances you could choose from.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't think they were variations though. I don't know what they were called though.
I don't know, whatever those were. We know what they are. And last for like kind of the new things of this game, if you want to just talk about straight fighting stuff, the new characters. Mortal Kombat 11 only introduced three new playable characters: Cetrion, Geras, and Collector. It's certainly not a lot. Mortal Kombat X introduced nine new characters, so a huge step down from that, which is fine. I do like all of the new characters in this game. I think they're all really cool for different reasons. My personal favorite is Geras. I love Geras. He's a cool guy. Sand powers.
Yeah, Geras is cool. I like Geras too.
Yeah, bit OP it seems. It was fighting him and Noah fighting him and he was tough. He like his moves deal it seemed like it almost seemed like in story he was like a mini boss. It seemed like his attacks did more damage. I mean just crazy combos and things.
I thought the collector was pretty cool.
Um I
Like it
feel
was
like
neat. It's a neat character. Like he's very neat looking.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say. I feel like in concept he's very cool, but as far as kind of the game works, and if you want to talk story, he basically doesn't matter in the story at all. I feel like he's just kind of an inciting incident to get characters together because it's his execution is where the time storm happens and stuff.
Right. Who Jaden, you can help me here. Who is the guy? Like, it's like the big guy with a little guy on top of it.
But that's Ferrator. They're not in this game.
No, I know. They are. Wait, they aren't.
No, they were introduced in Mortal Kombat X. They did not return.
Oh, okay. I do. Yeah, I always liked them though. I thought that was once again that was someone like that was just like really neat playing with. I know that's like off topic with MK11, but still just a cool character.
Well, I think Ferrator was unique. I think I can agree with you. It was a very unique character, but I don't believe it was very popular. Uh,
Probably.
and since we talked about Garrison Collective, we'll go ahead and talk about Cetrion. Goddess of life or whatever she is. I feel like she's the exact opposite of the Collector to me, where character wise, I didn't find her that interesting at all, but she is a very big part of the story.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really care for Cetrion either, to be honest with you. Like she's huge, big in the story, like you said, but I don't know. I just didn't really like her
Yep.
that much.
I just found it was weird that her devotion to her mother kind of outweighed her like pact as the goddess of life or good or whatever light maybe. I don't remember exactly what she's the goddess of, but like she kills all the other gods and I feel like she could have been a very interesting like oh she turns on her mother and helps the good guys because again goddess of life thing which I thought that's what they were gonna go for, but then no, like she straight up lets Cetrion, not Cetrion, sorry, lets Kronika kill and absorb her to get more power. Like she's not really good at all, which is very weird because it seemed like she was introduced as, the light to Shinnok's dark, as Shinnok is her brother, and obviously a very evil god. And so it very much set up Cetrion initially as being like, oh, but she's like, he was the god of evil, she's the god of good, and basically so I thought she was going to turn and help the heroes, and I'm disappointed that she didn't.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of weird how they implemented that too, because she's the goddess of light, life, virtue, and light. And I don't know. I guess it was kind of weird because it was she's good but not good. I don't know. It was a little weird,
Anyway,
slightly. Can I talk about the gameplay mechanics?
yeah, Cam, tell us about the crypt.
Okay, I don't know if I can do that cool of a voice. The crypt. Yeah, no, I can't do that. The crypt is a fully explorable
He hasn't
god.
gone through puberty yet, guys. Give him some time.
Okay, all right, Big Daddy. All right.
Hey, you
The
got it,
crypt,
little daddy. Tell him about the crypt.
you're right. The crypt is a fully explorable God of War esque area. You find items, solve puzzles, do bonus stuff, all to find and buy more stuff from more chests. So many locations and items are references to Mortal Kombat characters. You also have consumables, items
Well,
that
here
can
let's
be.
well let's just talk about the
Oh,
crypt.
okay, I got you. The crypt. Yep.
Uh, Basically its own little game here. You play like I compare it to God of War because I like that's just the first game I could think of where it's kind of like a semi-open world. You have this map, all these different areas you can explore, different like right at the beginning you get Shao Kahn's hammer and you can use that to break down weak walls to unlock more areas. You eventually, you find more items that help you unlock more areas, all typically related to Mortal Kombat characters. Like you find Kenshi's blindfold, which you can then use one of your three currencies. I believe it's called like soul orbs or something, really blanking on the name, but you use his blindfold to then see invisible chests and invisible like other interactables that you can use to unlock more areas in the environment. This thing is super in depth. I mean, holy crap, dude. It is such a large area to explore. There are so many chests. There's Yeah, I mean there's so much stuff in here, man.
You know, I'm gonna sound like crazy here because I don't really know. I can't remember the names of these. This is my fault, people. But Jaden, do you remember in the old Mortal Kombat games
Uh-huh.
where there was like the grave site and you would find stuff?
That was the crypt.
Was that also the crypt just in older games?
Yeah, well, see, in older games, typically how the crypt was done is it's like first person, and you're just walking around. I mean, basically just a giant graveyard, and you would just come across graves. You would spend money, and they would like blast open, and
You get prizes. You get like
you get
prizes.
yeah, you
Like
get stuff you buy. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I don't know
yeah,
why I'm blanking on that.
no, yeah, you're good. I just like I said, I remember that from younger games, and I don't know why. I just thought about it, and I didn't know if that was the crypt as well, but I do remember that in depth.
Yeah, I mean that's the crypt in Deadly Alliance. That's the crypt in MK9. I'm pretty sure that's the crypt in MKX.
I'm pretty sure Mortal Kombat 3 had something like that as well.
I don't know. You're going too far back for me.
Pretty sure.
But I mean, yeah, it's always been, in my experience, just first person. You're just moving around to different graves and buying things. And so I don't know where they got this idea for MK11 to make it its own explorable, open, semi-open area. But I think it's cool. Like it makes it actually semi-fun, at least for me, to run around the crypt and do solving puzzles and stuff. It's kind of like an extra game mode to give you a break from fighting in towers and test your luck and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I agree, and it's very more of like a mellow, calm kind of vibe to it a little bit, which is
Yeah.
nice. We also have consumables, items that can be used in the Towers of Time. They provide bonuses such as increased damage, starting every match with a fatal blow, disabling different hazards, and a lot more. I never really experienced this too much because I would I like when you do the towers and all that, I wasn't really into that as much.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're not talking about the towers yet. I probably should have put that before consumables, but oh well, live and learn. Hey, consumables. This again is just another interesting, unique thing that was added to MK11. Yeah, they're as the name implies, they're just consumable items you can use that give you bonuses. As Cam said, I'm repeating him again. This is unique. I think it's a cool thing they did. Just give you little bonuses, little extras to start these towers. Some of them stay in effect for a whole tower, some of them for only a single match. Yeah, and it's just another little extra thing. I think it's cool. I think it just adds an extra layer to doing towers, just having these items you can use to kind of make fights easier. I appreciate NetherRealm for just kind of making changes, trying to just add something different because Towers of Time, we're going to talk about Towers of Time now, are sort of returning from MKX and Injustice 2. So Towers of Time is not a new thing. It's basically it's it's an old returning thing, but the consumables I feel like were some added to add an extra layer to it of these different items you could use to make different variations to your fights. The Towers of Time allow players to travel through a series of alternate timelines within the Mortal Kombat universe and battle against opponents with various handicaps, stipulations, and goals. So I believe in MKX they were called Living Towers, and Injustice 2 it was called the Multiverse, where it's a bunch of different small towers, which towers like Arcade returning from Mortal Kombat all the way at the beginning, where you fight a series of opponents, and once you get to the end, you complete that tower and unlock rewards. There are a ton of different kinds of towers. There's the character towers, which you fight as each character. There's the classic towers, where you what's the word? You beat it, you unlock the character's ending. There's special towers that pop up. There's there's like time towers, which is like like kind of like the whole like daily, weekly challenges. They're timed towers. That's how they work. Like heroic towers with boss fights. There's tag assist towers. So you do that kind of tag assist concept, which is in the story a bit. I know, and I talked about it that I felt like it should have been in the game more. There's a test your luck tower. Test your luck was in MK9. I'm totally drawing a blank on if it was in MKX for some reason. Where each fight there can be different stipulations that pop up, like raining fireballs or characters constantly losing health, characters constantly gaining health, things like that. I mean, there's a lot to the Towers of Time. As Cam said, though, it's not something I particularly did a lot. I heard Noah complain about it a lot because he did it a lot. Because Noah actually got the platinum in Mortal Kombat 11. We'll talk about that.
Pretty crazy. That's
Yeah,
really, really, honestly, that's really challenging to get that.
Oh no, it's very, very, very respectable platinum. Like Noah does not have a lot of platinums. I mean, if you compare it to me, he has a lot compared to your average person. But I think every single one of Noah's, for the most part, isn't a challenging game. Noah does not typically go for the easy platinums. Anyway, that's the Towers of Time. You can also do AI battles with the towers. This is something also returning from Justice where you watch, you have an AI that is your. Oh man, I'm realizing I forgot to put a bunch of things. Like your character has levels, you have your profile has levels, gear levels. Leveling up your character gives them access to new moves and abilities and things, and obviously stronger level gear. Holy crap!
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Dude, you
Yeah,
could
man,
level up.
I'm really dropping the ball on this one. But anyway, then you can use those characters to fight as an AI, which is something that can, I guess, make the grindiness of the Towers of Time a little bit easier. I have a bunch of experience with the multiverse in Injustice 2, so I guess most of my experience in this kind of concept comes from that. And honestly, I feel the same about Towers of Time as I do about the multiverse, where I think it is a cool concept, but in my opinion, I feel like it goes a bit overboard in kind of what your requirements are and what you have to do. And completing them, unlocks gear and XP and other rewards. But it's something that me as like a casual Mortal Kombat fan, that I think in terms of gameplay, like Mortal Kombat series, huge fan, but in terms of playing it, casual. I'm not a, extreme gonna do everything guy in Mortal Kombat because NetherRealm typically requires a lot of you.
Right, yeah.
So my experience with it is with Towers of Time is like I played it a bit to be like, okay, I get what it's multiverse, I get what they're doing here, and then I moved on. So as a casual, there's not much else I can say about it.
Yeah, I can't really give too much of an opinion on if it's good or bad, just for like the fact like I'm more of just a story guy. Like I can promise you guys this now. Like I complete the story. I don't go for like completing like the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. That's more of
Man,
Jaden and Noah's
what
thing.
a loser. Anyway, um, so that's Towers of Time, and that is the gameplay section of this podcast. We're going to move on now to notable trophies. As I said, Noah has the platinum trophy in this game, very respectable. NetherRealm is one of the funniest gaming companies in the world to me when it comes to the world of trophies, because they will simultaneously have smorgasbords of easy trophies you can get, don't require a lot of time, typically, bronze. But if you like are wanting to inflate your trophy count, look up a guide so you kind of know what exactly is required of you, and play another own game for about 90 minutes, and you can walk away with a lot of trophies. For example, insert trophy name here. Perform 2 different fatalities with blank. There is literally a trophy for performing 2 fatalities with every character, because each character has 2 fatalities. Now, to let you know what that means, there's not one trophy for doing it with every character. There is a single trophy for every single character. And there's, what, 30 characters in this game?
Somewhere around there, yes.
So that means there are 30 trophies in this game that you unlock just by doing 2 fatalities with every character. You turn the game on very easy mode where the computer basically doesn't fight you back, run through 2 rounds very quickly, a fatality, and then repeat and do another fatality with a character. Boom, you get a trophy. Switch to another character, do the same thing. Boom, you get a trophy. Switch to another character, do the same thing. Boom, you get a trophy. And I mean, if you're playing on the easiest difficulty, and you have, I mean, the game I think lists them as well, but even if they're hidden, you can just look them up, and you can do the semi complicated but not insanely complicated button inputs for fatalities. Yeah, you can in 90 minutes walk away with like 30 trophies. It does not take a long time.
Yeah. And there is a total of 37 playable characters. 25 are in the base game,
Okay,
and
so
then 12 are,
25 trophies then. Yeah.
yeah, and then 12 are DLC. So
But that's still, I mean, that's 25 trophies, just boom like that.
yeah,
And
which is
yeah, which is, I mean, insane. And that's something they've done for a while. I think MKX had the same type of trophy. I know for a fact Injustice 2, it wasn't, obviously they don't have fatalities in Injustice 2, but it was every single character had a trophy of win a match with this character using this specific move. And one of them is the bane of my existence. Go listen to that episode to hear my story about Catwoman's cat call ability in Injustice 2. But I mean, yeah, it is nice, easy trophies to get. I mean, incredibly easy. But then also, Mortal Kombat has some of the most time-consuming and difficult trophies in gaming history. Go listen to our Mortal Kombat 9 episode where I talk about. I think the trophy is called "My Kung Fu is Stronger," but don't quote me on that because I don't remember. Mortal Kombat X had some crazy ones. Mortal Kombat 11 has some crazy ones. You have to open 200 chests in the crypt. That's a lot of chests, guys. 200? That's a lot. And Master of Time, complete 250 towers. That's 250 towers, guys. That is insane. Um,
In, how many characters are usually in one tower that you have to go through?
um, I think, I mean, the easiest, smallest towers, I think maybe five. And you can sort of get out of this by using an AI to fight for you, so you don't actually have to fight. And also, you can put the game on an easier difficulty, so fights don't take as long. Let's say on average, it takes you 10 minutes to complete a tower, which, spoiler alert, many of them take longer.
Yeah.
If it takes you 10 minutes to beat a tower on average, to do 250 towers takes 41.6 hours, 6 6 7 hours of gameplay time. 40, that's basically 42 hours.
Listen, that's a week's of work. Oh, like a week of work.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess less than 2 whole days, but it's just ridiculous. And again, I'm pretty sure a decent amount of them will take longer than 10 minutes. Yeah, it's just, I mean, Noah did it. I don't know, maybe there's some secrets to make it easier. But also, I mean, Noah just likes Mortal Kombat and he played it a lot. So I would not be surprised to hear he did actually just strong arm his way through that. Insane. Like I don't know why NetherRealm has always been like that. They have some easy trophies, a lot of easy trophies, but they'll always put at least one or two trophies that it's like, oh my god, like are you serious? I have to do this.
Yeah, like make you go mentally
Yeah, they
insane.
really make you work for it. Like only incredibly dedicated Mortal Kombat Injustice players can get the trophies, the platinum trophies in those games. Now we move on to our questions. Cam, favorite moment? You stole mine, so I'm going to talk about it.
That's okay. Go ahead.
The Raiden and Liu Kang fight. In the story, it talked about when Raiden and Liu Kang fight. Raiden sees like that. Oh, they have fought each other in so many different timelines and so many different in like every timeline. And it's discovered that Kronika basically has been for one. Kronika has reset time many times before. This is not the first time she's decided to do this, but she always pits Raiden and Liu Kang against each other. They always end up at odds. They always end up fighting. One always ends up killing the other. And in this cutscene, you see like them fighting in so many different timelines with different costumes and different Mortal Kombat arenas. It is such a cool cutscene watching them fighting through all these different timelines. As Raiden comes to that realization of, oh my god, like we've done this before, I can't believe it. And then him and Cetrion have a conversation about it, and she's not Cetrion, Kronika. Raiden and Kronika have a conversation where he's like, "You will not pit us against each other anymore," and she says, "Oh, you think we haven't had this conversation before?" Yeah, absolutely crazy. It's a very cool scene. I love it.
Yeah, I also liked when Johnny Cage fought Sector and Kano. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. It was just classic, classic Cage that I liked about it. I think that was in chapter 6, I believe, chapter 6, somewhere around that. Don't
yeah,
don't hold me to that. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a good, cool fight. I remember that fight. That was really cool. And
yeah,
he finished it off with a nut punch, dude.
yeah. That does actually remind me of another scene I do enjoy, which is future Johnny talking to past Johnny, and future Johnny is like a soldier and a super like strict whatever, and young Johnny is just the asshole actor guy, and they like it's like older Johnny literally pulls young Johnny by the ear out of a room and is like lecturing him, and he breaks his sunglasses, and young Johnny like pulls out a second pair of sunglasses and puts them on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
that
cool.
that that is funny.
So what we did not like about the game, for me, Kronika is too hard. Cam did mention it earlier, completely undercutting my answer for this question. Uh, is yeah, NetherRealm makes their boss fights too hard. I mean, Noah beat this. I was watching him play it. Almost had to set it to like easy difficulty. It is like she does so much damage. Her moves are so insane. It's so weird to me because you're hypothetically supposed to be, your fire god Liu Kang, who is supposed to be stronger than Kronika, who is supposed to be, the ultimate warrior, fire god Liu Kang. And I'm not saying the fight should be easy, but I mean, easier than it is.
Right, right. I agree. Well, and they've always kind of had that too, where like a lot of like the big boss fights are extremely hard, dude.
I mean, 1,000,000%. That's their big thing. The final boss fight is always super hard.
Yeah, like I've genuinely I've almost squeezed the life out of my controller before, just because of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't like about the game, which I'll say this continually until it happens again, is, excuse me, no open world. I want an open world Mortal Kombat. I think it'll be sweet. If people want to have where you can still fight, Jaden used earlier, like the 2.5D. I don't know what you call it, like the side camera of them fighting, right?
Yep.
Classic MK. I think, maybe for non-boss fights, maybe you could do something like that. And then when you get to a boss fight, that's when you get to fight like it's an open world. There's no restricted screen area. You can just, play as is and maybe like a little circle or something like that.
Oh,
I
so
think
you
that
want the 3D fighting back?
Yes, Jaden. I want the 3D fighting and I want the open
Um,
world. I want to walk around everywhere. I
yeah.
still want cutscenes. Cutscenes are great. I just want to walk around. I want to talk to people. I want to get collectibles. I want to do this. I want to do that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just think it's really neat. And I feel like we
Yeah.
haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's something that they did, in Deception and Armageddon had those open world walk around the different multiverse, different planets, which I mentioned earlier, talking about all the different realms that you don't see in this game. I agree with you. A lot of people miss that mode. Being able to just openly run through all of the different Mortal Kombat realms is really cool. It's something I wish they brought back. I do think it would be very difficult with how story intensive their games are for that to work, but it is something I would love for them to bring back. As for the 3D fighting, I don't like the 3D fighting. I like the 2.5D. I think keep it like that. Anyway, now let's talk replayability. It's a beat and delete. If you are a filthy casual fighting gamer like Cam and I are, you'll play the story and that's it. I do love the story. I've actually gone back and watched some of the cutscenes. I enjoy a lot since then. But yeah, that's it. It's fine. I don't have much else to say about it.
I mean, it's a good game, but I just think in general, Mortal Kombat is kind of just built that way where, you play it when maybe you're at a party with friends or,
Yeah.
you're like we used to have some family, some fun. But as the aspect of, would I ever want to go back and play the story again? I feel like it's a one. You just experience it one and you move on. Experience it once and then you move on.
Yes. Now we have to talk about DLC. For the first time in Mortal Kombat history, there is story DLC, the Aftermath expansion. Introduces some more DLC characters, including the return of Fujin, Nightwolf, and Shang Tsung. Really cool characters. Awesome to bring them back. It has I believe, 5-chapter story. Good detail. Good length, I mean. It's like one of those, of course, with time travel, they completely screw up the timeline of the first game of the base game, I mean. Which is any time travel story has that. It's very kind of like Back to the Future-esque. Like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, make sure you guys, when you're going through time, you aren't seen because you'll mess up the timeline. And then, of course, they're immediately seen and everything gets screwed up. It also has multiple endings. I do have like an entire story description here, but I realize I don't even want to say it because I don't want to spoil it for someone who's maybe listening to this episode that hasn't played. Go watch it. I would say watch the entire Mortal Kombat 11 story if you haven't played the base game. But I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you played the base game. Maybe you never went back and played Aftermath. You should go back and play it. It is, I think, it just is the icing on the cake, cherry on top, ending to the story of this game. It sets up Mortal Kombat 1 because it continues off of this story and everything. I mean, it's like if we're talking story-based DLCs in games, it's one of my favorite story-based DLCs in any game that I've ever played. It's such an incredible story.
Yeah, I agree. I think the DLC, not only was it already an amazing story, but the DLC pushed it past the limits of what I thought they could do inside one game, and it was amazing. You definitely need to play it. If you listen, if you've played MK11, you have to play the DLC. You have to. It's really really good. I
Yeah,
recommend it, buddy.
1,000,000%. Great story, DLC. I'll even just frankly give a shout out to Shang Tsung, the actor who played Shang Tsung in the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. I can't remember his name. Returns to voice Shang Tsung in this game, and also like the character is even just modeled after his look. Uh,
Wait, what? That's the real that's the one from the movie?
uh huh.
Oh, what? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
Oh, that's
that.
sweet.
It's that guy.
That is sweet.
Yeah, that's what Noah told me at least. I hope he wasn't lying.
We're gonna look it up. It's gonna be some random dude. Who's like, what are you talking about?
That'd be that would be really awkward. But his performance as Shang Tsung, I mean, my God, I feel like should have won him some awards somewhere. It was such a great performance. I think that is the best Shang Tsung has ever been played, performed. It was absolutely iconic. I go back and watch cutscenes from that aftermath just to like hear his voice as the character and his performance because he is so good.
Yeah, it was. Dude, he sounded really sick, dude. It
Oh,
was really
absolutely.
sick.
Yeah. And that is the Aftermath DLC. Cam, what are your final thoughts on Mortal Kombat 11?
I think it is a very good game. It has a super good in-depth story. You know, you don't get as many new characters as you did in the previous game, but there is a lot of character development and story, and I feel like the whole time the story kind of keeps you on your toes. You know, I mean, it was a really good game. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Pretty much what you said about like the story and things. The story absolutely kick ass. One of the best stories I've played. The best fighting game story I've ever played. It starts high and it does not like it starts high, it starts fast, it does not slow down until the very end. I would absolutely recommend this one to anyone who is a fan of a good story, a good fighting game story. I think it's a great way to sort of wrap up the reboot trilogy of 9, X, and 11. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really, really good. I love it.
Yep, and you know, also just I mean, if you're talking about gameplay wise as well, there's always new cool moves and all these
Oh,
type of
I mean, yeah.
combos, and the movement's always
Oh,
insane.
I
So
mean, the fatalities, the new moves, the fatal blows, all awesome. Everything. In my casual experience, I do not have a strong complaint about this game other than the boss fight being too hard. Anyway, that is Mortal Kombat 11. Now, Cam, we move on to the indie bit, the bit where we talk about indie games.
yay!
So today we are talking about Haven. So Haven is a game. It's about a pair of lovers, U and K, in a futuristic sci-fi world in a society where your mates are chosen for you by the matchmaker. They fell in love with each other and decided to run away. They run away to an abandoned, nearly forgotten planet called Source. And at the beginning of the game, their ship they used to get there was damaged by an earthquake, and they are trying to find parts to repair their ship while discovering more about this planet and the bad history of the company that tried to colonize it initially, and also, blossoming their relationship more fully. How the gameplay works is, oh boy, it's an interesting one. So you travel around this planet. There are a bunch of different small islets, what they're called, that are connected by these energy bridges, this energy called flow, and they are covered in this substance that is called rust, along with creatures that have been corrupted by this rust. So you kind of fly slash hover around this planet. You clear off rust. You purify these creatures. You collect food like plants that you then use to make food because you actually have a hunger meter you have to eat every once in a while. There is a day-night cycle. Yeah, and you look for parts, you discover more about this planet, and there's combat. The combat is time-based. It's kind of weird. It's like a semi-turn-based thing where you have two different types of attack, impact or blast, and you have to hold a button. Like the left side of the controller controls one, the right side controls the other, and your attacks take a certain amount of time to charge up and hit. And enemy attacks are the same way; they take a certain amount of time to charge up and hit. So you just are trying to deal out as much damage as quickly as possible to incapacitate and pacify the creatures you're fighting. Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah, you also have some like not only do you go through their relationship and like their story, but you also do like at home activities things like I remember you made food.
Oh yeah, typically you make food, and then there's typically a cut scene of them interacting and just doing some sort of activity, whatever. You also like sleep, which it's not a necessary thing; it just advances time. But also, when you sleep, typically there's a cutscene that plays out of them, just kind of smaller, intimate moments, you could say. Cam, what did you think about Haven? Let me
I
ask you
think it,
this. Let me ask you this. I did you beat the story?
yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I did not. Uh,
Really?
I'm decently far into it. I did not fully complete it. We'll kind of discuss why in a bit, but I will say just
Well, let's
I
hear what
I
happened.
just well I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know if you had beaten it before you talk about it. So don't spoil it for me.
I
Let
won't. I won't. I'm not gonna say anything. I won't say anything. Well,
just inform me of what did you like it? Did you like Haven?
it was okay. Well, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. I think it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't hate. I don't have like it wasn't bad. I think the fighting was all right. I thought the movement was really cool. Like moving around, I thought that was really neat. I was surprised you didn't do this with that game with Haley because I know it was like 2 player.
Oh, I didn't realize it was actually two player.
Oh, it is like
You
it's
play
full on.
as both. I mean, you play as both of them at the same time. I did not know it was actually two player. Haley
Yeah,
watched me play parts of it. She wasn't into it, but you go on with your little discussion here.
yeah, no, you're good. And so I I know I was gonna say my bad. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was surprised you guys couldn't play it as 2 player. And overall, I think it's a neat game. The combat is okay. It's very time based and different animals like do different. Like you have to do different things. Like I remember one of them. Like you get the shit smacked out of you when you try to go over there, like get close to it. And there's like there's other animals that do different things, and there's also like animals that help you. Um, it's neat. I don't know if I would play it again necessarily, but I'm not upset that I played it.
Yeah, some of the things are the like animals. You do have to approach them different ways because some are weak to blast, some are weak to impact,
Yes,
and also some of them you have to actually time your attacks around their attacks because they only have kind of small moments when they are weak. So yes, that is true.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, not much more I have to say about it. What do you think?
Okay, well let me go a lot more in depth than you did. So
I just
Cam, I'll say the characters U and K in this game are a lot hornier than I expected.
yeah, I didn't know if
Um,
we I just want to say this. Hold on, real quick, real quick. I just want to say this real quick. Sorry,
uh,
dude.
yeah.
I just want to say first of all, yeah, I don't know how in depth I was able to go.
Um, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
um,
You know what
oh
I'm saying?
my God, they're just okay. So I want to start off. I actually didn't mention this. When you start the game, I guess you could say by default, K is a dude and U is a chick. You can actually change that. You can have the both characters be women, both characters be men, so a lesbian or a gay relationship, or K by default K is a male and U is female. So Cam, you might not know this about me. Our sister knows it because her and I are kind of similarly weird. I love lesbian relationships and things. So picked that. Like the version of both of them is female. And they're so horny. Oh my God. I did actually watch a playthrough of like a standard playthrough because one, I actually wanted to hear what the voice actor of the male version of K sounded like, and two, I wanted to check something which verified that everything because it even says when you pick what kind of the genders the characters are that it's basically cosmetic. which is true. The cutscenes basically play out the same way, just some pronouns are changed and things. Um,
You you will have to let. I'm sorry. You will have to let me know if the ending is different for you or not.
okay, we'll see about that. But yeah, like some pronouns are changed in terms of their interactions, but basically the cutscenes play out the exact same way. So this is kind of maybe a bit of a jaded thing, but it made me just feel weird watching these horny intimate moments between these two characters, especially as I pick both of them as women, because I'm like, I feel like a creep watching this. It's like, oh my god. Like I was talking to Haley. Haley was making fun of me. She said at one point she was like, Haley said, you're like one of those neckbeard guys watching this. And I'm like, it's I'll say it's has nothing to do with the fact that it's like a lesbian couple, because I'm also Jaden is just very weird when it comes to like PDA and things like that. And I just feel weird kind of watching these. Like I like it because I think the relationship between the two characters is very fun and very nice. I think it's very well done. I think the performances are very well done. I don't it's just like I feel weird. I would feel weird watching that stuff with any couple. But then the fact that I like chose them to be a lesbian couple and they're doing this stuff. I'm like, dude, if I tell anyone about this game, they're gonna think I'm a creep or something. It's just like it just seems like I feel like if there's anyone who has played this game that I said to them, hey, yeah, I played Haven. Oh, I had them both as a couple. They'd be like, oh, I know why you did that. And it's like I didn't know. I didn't know going in they would be so horny. It really caught me
Listen,
off guard.
you know it was funny too because I'm playing it, Jason, and I've never felt like I'm playing a game and I feel like I'm third wheeling. I'm like, what is
Yeah,
this?
it's like yeah, it feels like voyeurism. I'm just watching these intimate moments and things, and I just felt weird about it. But again, that's a me thing, just me being a weird person. But yeah, I like their interactions. But I mean, the further you get, the further the relationship develops. It just keeps they're just so horny. It's just it's I just can't. It just keeps going. Anyway, that's that. I do like the fact that you can I don't know if I said that I liked it, but the fact that you can kind of choose the different types of relationships there, I think that's cool. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the timing based combat. I kind of wish it was more traditionally turn based because I feel like I'm bad at it and I don't know what to do to get better. It's just very weird.
Oh yeah,
Uh
and it's kind of funny. I watched on a video,
huh.
just about the game.
Uh huh.
Just seeing because I thought like I did. I looked up. I was like, how can I maybe change the time base? And
Yeah.
dude, it's insane for the computer. When it's like the dot and the comma,
Uh huh.
that's the button for the impact.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm thinking, and I'm like, God, like, dude, trying to find that must suck on a computer.
Yeah. It's I don't like it. That's like it's not awful, but I kind of wish they had just gone turn based. I feel like it's a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, Also, you talked about the movement. I'm kind of annoyed that to glide the glide movement, you have to hold the R2 button to do it because you're playing like trust me guys, the entire time you're playing the game, you're holding that button down. Like there is no reason to not hold that button down. And it's like, yeah, it's just kind of annoying. It's like just make the glide the default movement. You can also drift. I don't like the drift mechanic, Cam. I do not like it. It's also just very weird to figure out. I don't care for it. And the game keeps pushing it. Like the characters keep making comments if you don't drift. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
I like the U-turn aspect though, like where you can go like side to side. Like that's cool. I don't know. I like
yeah.
that kind of.
I also, admittedly, at first had a hard time getting into it because progression in this game is kind of weird. Just progressing through the story itself, where like I've played this game over like 4 different times. The first time I played it for like an hour. The second time maybe like 90 minutes, and it's one of those games that Cam. I don't know if you've experienced this before. It feels longer than it is. Like when I played this game, like the first time, I was like, man, I've been playing for so long, and I feel like I've done nothing. And then it's like, oh, I've only been playing for an hour. Wow, it feels like I've been playing for three. It's
Yeah.
kind of one of
I've
those.
I've
Um,
definitely had games like that, and that is very true. And I
yeah,
don't know if that's because a lot of the time you're just going around trying to clean it up,
yeah,
like because some of the animals like I forget what it's like starts with a B. I can't remember the name, but he'll take you
uh,
to like other
Oh,
Plan is
Burble.
Burble. Yes.
Yeah.
And the only exception is you have to have had clean that
Yeah.
area up. So, it just kind of takes time.
Yeah. It's weird, the progression. Like, I just felt like I was playing and playing and playing and not accomplishing anything. And it took a point where the third time I played this game, I probably played it for like 3 hours. And I had to like force myself to keep going. I had to be like, nah, I've only been playing for an hour. I have to keep going. I have to keep playing. And about like 90 minutes into my third play session, so maybe about roughly 3 hours into the game, was when I finally like stuff was happening. And it finally felt like stuff was happening. It felt like I was doing stuff. I got a handle on all the different game mechanics, and I was finally hooked. And now I'm hooked. Like, I am gonna finish the game. I really, really enjoy it. I think the story is great. The gameplay is, I think, unique and interesting. Actually reminds me of another similar game I played that we might talk about in any bit in the future. But yeah, it did take me a bit of time to get into it. And I think the kind of weird progression is a part of that. Because I just was playing this game for so long, feeling like I was not accomplishing anything at all. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely had I was rushing. I can't lie to people. I was rushing. I kind of forgot about the game middle of the week, and
Oh
you know,
yeah,
I,
yeah. That was
I found
funny.
it, and I was like, I was rushing, so I didn't know where Jaden's progress was, but I knew that I had to get that game done. So
It was a fun time trying to get that game downloaded for Cam.
yeah,
It took,
and
let me tell you, two-person effort to get that game downloaded on PS4.
yeah,
And then kind of my last thing I'll say about it, as well as whenever you eat and sleep, as I said, cutscenes will play out after. You can also camp, in which case it's the same thing. You eat, sleep, cutscenes play. There are random things they do. And there are trophies tied to certain scenes happening, but again, it's kind of random, which, hey, random is not good. You have to kind of just keep doing it until those cutscenes pop up. I can't tell. It is possible that the cutscenes do actually play out in a certain order. Certain cutscenes won't play out until certain conditions are met. It's possible that it is not random and there is actually an order to it. I can't verify that. But yeah, it is annoying that you have random scenes you have to have happen for you to unlock trophies. But also, I guess on the contrary, the game itself is quite small and short, so I have had all but one of those random cutscenes happen, and I've maybe played the game for like 6, 7 hours, which is not bad. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
like I'm.
and
You go ahead.
I'm not going to tell you much, Jaden, about the ending. I will just say there is a fair warning, a little
Uh,
bit of a warning. Oh, it's a little bit of a warning, but
uh
yeah, it gets there a little
okay,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
But no, I do actually I enjoy it. It took a bit of time, a bit longer than I would have liked for it to kind of pick up and me to really get into it. Like, if it wasn't for the fact we were playing the game for the podcast, I might have ended up quitting it before getting to that point. If I was just, playing it as just someone playing a game. But, that's whatever. Cam, that's Haven. What is our next indie bit game?
the next game is going to be Lake.
Oh, Cam.
What? Have you guys already done that?
We did that. Noah and I talked about Lake.
Mother.
Oh my god. I know you're upset. I know you're upset. I just want you to know that I absolutely love this, that this happened. That's the awesome. That's the best.
It's kind of hard because it's not like I can know when you guys are gonna do it.
Well,
Like
I mean,
I'm not gonna go back to every episode and be like, oh, episode 42, Link. Okay, I got it.
it was actually decent. All right.
You said
Oh,
well. I'm sorry, you cut out there.
I was gonna say it was a bit more recent than episode 42. By the
Well,
way, we've reached 80 total episodes of the podcast. Go us. We did it. Oh man. Oh, I'm
okay.
so happy about that.
There was another game that we can talk about. Let's see if this one's taking up, guys. Since we're just playing musical game over here. Uh, what about Humanity?
Oh, we did Humanity.
Ah, God damn it!
I'm so sorry, buddy.
It's okay. I get what it's coming to. I understand. I guess I will start asking Jaden before the episode if we have not done this game.
Episode.
I always say episode. Hey, I don't want to hear it. You called era earlier. All right. I don't want to say nothing, but I
That's how I pronounce it.
yeah.
Hold on. I'm trying to find a game for you.
Hold on, I'm looking. I'm looking. God dang it.
Oh man.
Dude, you got some weird games here too. That's the worst part. There is like some really like just not okay. What about Human Fall Flat? Have y'all done Human Fall Flat? I bet you have,
You know
haven't you?
what? We have not actually done Human Fall Flat.
Have you heard of the game, Jaden?
I have. I actually watched a playthrough of that game several years ago on YouTube. These couple of guys that I liked played through it. I have actually not played it myself. I will accept. And Noah actually played through it. I remember him talking to me about it, but he never actually picked it as an indie bit for some reason. So you know what? We'll accept it. Human Fall Flat is the next indie bit game. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. But you're not allowed to check with me before the episode for if we've done an indie bit.
Okay. So
So I
we'll
will
just
I will tell I will compile a list and send you a list of the indie bit games that Noah and I have done so you know. But yeah, that's awesome. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened in this podcast. I love it. Oh my god. Anyway, hey guys, don't forget new episodes every other Monday. Rate and subscribe. Tell us if you like our show or tell us if you don't. Tell us why. Tell your friends and enemies about the podcast. You can follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, for updates on episodes, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Super Gamer Bros. That is one word, capital S, capital G, capital B, period at the end, where Noah is working hard, uploading videos every day. Yeah, and thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next game.
peace.